Alright, it's been a while, YouTube. Working on a new project. About a little $40, $45 I think it was, Alpena LED Command Easy Link kit. Put some cheap ground effects on my motorcycle. Picked it up at Walmart, wasn't too expensive. Kuryakin has a much nicer kit with a lot more LEDs, and the construction is probably quite a bit better, but it's also about $300. So for my trip to Sturgis, I wanted to spruce up the bike a bit. Never managed to get around to getting it done, but sitting here in the garage, it's the 11th of September, never forget, and figured I'd sit out here and maybe get it done before our trip down to Poopy's in Illinois here at the end of the month. So I just want to show you guys what I'm doing, what parts are involved, how I'm doing it. All right, so far, these are the tools I needed. Need a solid screwdriver to take apart take off the seat and take apart the oh shit handle that is part of the seat. Good pair of channel locks. And that pair of channel locks is going to be used. You guys are going to crucify me a little bit, I already know, for using this. But these little vampire clamps, because we don't want to cut the Inovi wires. These things work well enough, and we're gonna positive and negative on that for the power lead that comes with this camera system. So this is the kit I bought. Like I said, I found it at Walmart. I think it's $45, something like that. It uses Bluetooth. It's got a little controller on it. It's a 4-channel control. You can actually control each of the 4 channels independently. It's also got some scene settings that you can do with it. Which side here is it? So it includes 4 12-inch in Freedom units, or 30 centimeters for you commies. The Bluetooth controller, and it actually looks like that. Power plug, we're not going to use that. I've used it for testing and just dinking around with it, playing with the app and whatnot, but we're not going to use that. But you could use it if you want to. The hook and loop thing, basically it's a double-sided Velcro sticky thing so you can stick it somewhere where it's not going to vibrate away. That Easy Seal, that seals up the end, and you'll notice that red gasket on there. Despite this box saying interior, and elsewhere on the box it says interior use only. I don't know if that's for legal or otherwise, but they got seals on here, and I'm going to trust this more than I trusted the kit I bought for my Indian for, a solid $500 out in Sturgis. I've got this input cable, and that's the one we're using for power. It's a little bit longer than that, but it gives you the idea. It includes 2 5-foot 60-inch extensions, so you can take 2 of those 4 channels and run them quite a distance, and then 2 3-foot cables, 36 inches in Freedom units, 91 centimeters for you commies. And you'll notice again on those, focus, they've also got those red little gaskets on there. So that's what we're working with. The app, pretty nice. There's the box. It's back in the automotive section, Android and Apple app for it. And they got a bunch of different products. They got a bigger kit. I think I want to say it was $70. That included, it was still 4 strips, I think, but 2 of them were 2 of them were 12 inches and 2 of them were 3 foot or something. So depending on what you want to do, they got options. All right, found it right here. Maximum current draw, 27 RGB LEDs, 2.8 amps. So we should be good on that circuit. Hopefully. I think we will be. We should be good on that circuit. Ultimately, the next LED system I light up, I will put a proper relay of some sort, either a switch in here or here, so I can affirmatively turn that system off, or I will put something a little bit more robust that can be keyed with a relay that will cut power on and off of that. These wires here came a little bit short. I think this jacketing left us all of about that. I went ahead and stripped it back, give us some more room to work, and then I'm going to use these little vampire clamps to tie it to that red and black pair coming from the battery. All right, that's not working so well. All right, I admitted I hate these things. You do what you do. Ta-da! I will say the one thing I don't like is I don't have a switch for this. Okay. I'm sorry, 3M. It was my fault. I left degreaser on there, and adhesive doesn't stick to degreaser, turns out. Spray down some Windex, and that sticks there. I'm gonna leave it, and if it falls off in the next month, I'll buy some more tape or something, but it's not the end of the world. Part of me wants to put a zip tie there, but I also don't want to scratch up the although, you know, I'm getting painted. I'll probably do that. I'll probably put, actually I might wrap some tape around part of that. I've got some packing tape, and I know that doesn't sound great, but things getting painted, so I shouldn't say that. I'll probably bleep that out. But run it up behind that pipe and up in there, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it way down in there. Let's see if I can adjust. No, it's not going to adjust, but it comes up and in there. And do the same thing on this side. I'll try to position the camera in such a way that you can see what I'm doing, but same thing on this side. Once I put that Windex on there and got rid of that degreaser, this old boy is just fine. So probably wrap a piece of packing tape around there just to hold it in. It's clear enough. Should get me through the next couple of months of riding before we strip all the tins and things off this bike for a little bit of paint. Same deal. I got the cable on there. I'm gonna route it up there. This side's a lot more open. You got the ABS unit there. By the way, my bike isn't normally this dirty. I have not properly cleaned it. We stayed at a horse ranch while we were out at the Sturgis Bike Rally, just about 13 miles north of Nemo. And this is a Hill Creek Ranch. If you're ever out there, give it a go. The owners are super, super nice. It's a super nice facility. They got power and water. And we camped out there in our RV for the whole week. I think it was for $250. Oh, and there was a $5 power charge for the whole week. So beat that. The downside was about 6 miles of gravel road before when you leave Nemo Road and ride into the ranch, Forest Road. Not impossible, but I got a couple pictures. I'll probably post one right up here, and of my bike backed in downtown Sturgis, just looking dusty and dirty as hell. But we'll run this one up here. When you're doing this, these pins are exposed. I should have fed it from the other direction where it's a little bit more protected, but I didn't. Just be careful if you're doing it this way that you're not bending or damaging these pins. Oof, that's filthy under there. So I got some dielectric grease in there. We're gonna squirt a little bit in there, and it's always gonna be too much, just the way dielectric grease works. And yeah, too much. So that's what we end up with. But that's good because you want to get all the air, and you just, at the end of the day, you don't want water infiltrating your electrical connections. That's what it ends up looking like. It's a little extra there, but not the end of the world. Make sure our pins are okay, and then we're gonna go up through the frame here, like over there. I'm gonna lay on the ground, and feel free to make your fat jokes here. Alrighty, so this lip is real close here, so we're gonna try to hide it best we can. And it's the same hole I found. Don't get cute with that. It's the same hole I found on the other side, I think. Yep. Get this up out of, and don't worry, I'll bring you over here and show you what I'm doing in a minute. Get this guy out of the way here. And we're gonna tuck him up and under there. We're gonna try to tuck this guy as far back as we can so we can hide that cable. It means the LEDs won't be quite as visible on that end, but we mostly don't want to see that wire hanging out. The seat will come up and cover some of that, but the better we hide it now, the less we have to worry about the seat hiding it later. All right. What we're going to do is just kind of tuck it in where we want it. without being too crazy, without it contacting the bike where we don't want it to. Okay. Yep, so this, unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to do a good job hiding that. We might have to do something here to protect it from the engine, but I think we'll be all right. Mostly, we just don't want that wire to be super visible from the side. I think we mostly succeed. You might be able to see this, but we'll do a better job with the next set. Let's turn it on and see what it looks like. So I'm doing even on the right side of the bike, just because you can separate out each channel when you set your colors. So I could have the left side be blue and the right side be orange, or I could have all four corners be different. Oh, come on. Oh, that's that pin I bent and I didn't quite get it back home. All right, let's see what that looks like, shall we? All right, that's what we've got. Obviously the saddlebags are missing. I haven't finished wrapping up that wire. Let me turn off this fluorescent light over here for a moment. See how it's hitting the tire in the ground? It's going to keep hitting the tire even after those bags go on. Get some lighting on the floorboards, the engine. Ideally, you'd want something up here too on the front fender, and ultimately down here beneath. And that Kuryakin set, when I buy that, we'll take care of that. But I think we've got pretty good coverage. I'm not happy I don't have a switch, but we'll get that taken care of in short order. But I'll show you with a solid color and a couple of different solid colors, and then we'll start piecing it back together and tying that stuff up with some zip ties. Here's a solid. It actually, at least on the screen of my camera, looks super blue. It's actually a light purple. Hey Taylor, go turn the lights off in the garage, please. See if we can change that color. Don't close the garage door. Okay. And it's still looking pretty blue on camera. But we'll see what it looks like on another color. Here's red. It actually looks red. It's a deeper red in person. It looks pinkish on camera. Partially washed out by the lights here in the garage, but I think that's just camera itself. But we'll get it wrapped up and I'll show you what I did and we'll go from there. Make sure you got a nice new screwdriver you only use for finished screws. Something that's got sharp shoulders on it so you don't cam out of your screws. I'll grab an old screwdriver, both the same brand, and I'll show you what I mean. See if I can show you this. If you can, maybe I'll pull the whole YouTube trick. Here. Come on. There we go. You can see how those shoulders and that screwdriver are rounded off. If I come back to this guy, you see how sharp those are? That's your best bet. First off, that's good for all screws. But try to keep one around that's in this new condition, because that's the guy that you want to use on your finished screws. Whether you're doing electrical anything, or you've got these nice chromed screws to hold your seat on, because they're not going to cam out, they're not going to scratch things up, they're not going to make anything worse. Saddlebag number 1. If I didn't say it already, I cheated. I ended up not using zip ties on anything, and the real reason is when I got them in there and I started checking clearances, I got worried about scratching up the paint and maybe damaging the fiberglass of the saddlebag itself. And knowing that this is going to be a temporary deal anyway, I really didn't care. So I actually ended up using tape on the rest of the saddlebag bracket mounting locations, or for the wire. It'll hold it. It'll be good enough. Sometimes good enough is okay. It's not normally how I do my work, but for this particular job, it's not going to hurt anything. Might even save myself some money in refinishing when we go to get these bikes painted up. Alright, so why don't I go turn the lights off and we'll get a look at this bad boy. Here we are. I got an iPhone 8, so it doesn't do the best in the dark, but kind of nice to see that shine on the ground. Got some shine on the engine. I'll show you the other side, and then I'll actually start the bike up and show you what she looks like running.